Okay. Hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth session for this course, Python for Data Science. My name is Raj V. Jain, and I'm a PhD student at IISc. Um, so today we'll finish up some of the pending, items from the past weeks, and we'll do the week three assignment questions, right? And then, if time remains, we'll get into week four lecture content. Okay. Um, so last I remember, there was a question regarding the ID function, right? Is Who had asked that? Is that person here?
Yeah, I asked this question.
Ha. Okay. So I did a bit of reading on that. So what it seems like is something like this, right? So if you were to run this sort of a code, let's say x equal to 10, y equal to 10, all of that, um, this ID is going to give you true. Okay. That means basically they point to the same location in memory. But if you do something like this, it's going to give you false, right? And it is not just the fact that it is a negative number that we are doing, right? If this was something like um, um, 2000, y is 2000, and if I do this, I still get false, right? And also the fact that if, let's say, if I kept it something like this, x y equal to -4, then it's true, right? So this basically, this part of the question that was, I mean, we were a bit unclear about this, right? So um, about this, the idea is that Python basically stores a few of the numbers in the location as it is. So let's say, so numbers from -5 to 256, right? These numbers are given special locations in memory by Python. So anybody who uses these numbers will get that location in memory. It will be pointed, but it won't make a new number again in the memory. Unlike here. So here what has happened is when I give x equal to 2000, 2000 is not in this range. So then x becomes this object 2000 is created, and the location in that memory is then assigned to this x, right? Similarly to y. So because now these were made in two different locations in memory, their ID being same is impossible. Whereas for these for numbers in this range only, Python has done that to basically uh, have some efficiency in their in the way it executes. All right. So that's the reason for this. Is that clear? What I've told till now.
Yeah, yeah, thanks.
Ah, ah. And then it seems like it does that even for small strings also. So let's say something like this. And then if you were to use something like hello world, and if I give you S1, so again, it's become false. So what it seems to be doing is for small strings, for small integers, it creates one copy and keeps it in some location in memory. And then whoever wants to use that same value will get pointed to the same location in memory, right? So hence this is happening. Now, it's not true for tuples, by the way. I mean, it's not generally true for tuples. So this is how it is going to be. Um, but when you think about in terms of pandas, because this was the original question that we had, right? So what is ID doing here? Um, so think about the so copy function as such, right? The method that is there, that itself, if you see the description, it says that when deep is equal to true, a new object is returned with all the other stuff that we already is what we expect. But when deep is equal to false, still a new object is always created, but without copying the calling object's data or index. So only the references to the data and index are copied. So hence, what ends up happening is um, uh, I can do it here. Um, right? So now if I do this, so you can see here, um, why is this time? Yeah. So if you can see here, so the dot copy method will always create a new object at the end of the day. So hence the ID function is going to give you three different values for each of the three objects here, right? But if you look at the index, uh, objects, so you can see that the data, that's the original one, and the shallow copy of it, both of them have the same ID function, right? The deep has obviously different, right? So this is what pandas is doing internally. So it's making sure the index and the data as such have similar are same, but but the deep but it has a different object altogether, and deep obviously does it completely differently, right? And similarly, then if you look at columns, for example, that again, shallow and data have similar same IDs, but not the deep columns. Okay. Um, and then, so there are some other things that you can look at here, and I think these are all basically depends on how the exact implementation of pandas. So, and I don't have that much knowledge about that either. So this will need some elbow grease in trying to understand how pandas is using NumPy internally, and where is it copying, where is it not copying, etc., etc. Does that answer the question at least to a bit?
Yes. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, fine. So this was one of the questions. Uh, then what we have, yeah. So Boolean precedence. Last time I had mentioned that and or have the same precedence, but that's not true. Python doesn't do it that way. Python has and as a higher precedence, right? So in that, so you can see in this case, this particular example. Uh, so let's say if A is true, B is false, and C is false, and if I have a result something like this that says A or B and C, if OR has a higher precedence, then this will get solved first, right? So they basically true or false and false, then true or false becomes true, then true and false becomes false, right? And if and has a higher precedence, you will see the value being a bit different. That is basically if you see a true or false and false, so then this false and false becomes false, true or false becomes true. So now if you were to print the result, you will see that it's actually true, right? So so basically and has a higher precedence than or. It is not, they don't have the same precedence. So even if they occur in the same line, it won't be left to right. It will be first and then or. Does that clear? Is
Yeah.
that clear?
Yes. Clear. Thanks.
Okay. Um, Good enough. Uh, and there was one last question, I guess. Regarding filling in values based on the uh, you know uh, using the apply function, right? So for that, yeah. Uh, is this the one that was confusion? Which was confusing? So, or we can do it here. So the idea here is, yeah, let's say df equals to some pandas or data frame, right? And here the idea is you're doing df dot apply, lambda x, and then you're saying x dot fill NA, x dot mean, if x dot d type equals to float, else x dot fill NA, x dot, I think this value counts, yeah. So value counts, right? And then dot index of 0, right? Um, uh, does anyone have a doubt why this works?
Sir, explain me this doubt. I want to clear it.
Sure. So, just a moment. I'm not sure why I'm not able to share the screen properly. Okay, fine. So here, yeah. So basically, what we're doing here is, let's say we'll first make some dummy data, right? X is 3, right? Y is, for example, let's say 10, and we'll make something and desktop. Any? Yes. Okay. Mm, and we need some. Yeah. So let's do in live. Yeah. So our data frame TF is basically something like this, right? So where I have first one column 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And df.d types hopefully should give us something. Okay, it's int. Have they used d type is equal to float? Uh, x dot d type. I don't know why this will work then. So yeah, so in case if it's float, then it's going to be that way. So let's say we'll make it df of x, df of x, that is df of x as type float. Okay. Okay. So does this till now what I did is clear. So I've just made a basically a simple data frame which has some missing elements in it. So here the idea is when you're doing this dot apply, right? This dot apply is going to work in this form. So it's saying that you will do it'll go one column by column, right? So dot apply works if you're not given the access here. Um, yeah, so it will work. Has to be one. Check that. So then what? So then what do we do here? Is that we're saying so this particular operation is does anyone have a clarity what this thing does? What this type of a uh,
It does a condition check that if it is a float, then it is going to fill with the mean value. Otherwise, it's going to fill with the index 0 value.
right, that's it, right? So this actually a very shorthand form of writing if else condition, right? So the condition that you want to check will be here. And if the condition is true, this will get executed. Otherwise, this will get executed, this whole part of the remaining part, right? So basically what we're doing is we're just checking if the particular column, whatever column we have, if it is float type or not. If it is float type, then obviously we'd like to fill with the mean value, right? So we'll say that any non any NA values, we want the mean, and we get the mean by using x dot mean, right? So here x is the column. So we're saying column dot fill NA with the column's mean value. Okay, that is what this one does. Otherwise, if it is not float, right, if it is some string or some object type, whatever, then we are saying that, okay, you find out the, so x dot value counts gives you for each unique value in that column, what is the count, uh, what's the frequency of occurrence, right? So now what we're saying in that 10, oh no, no, it's dot index of zero. That's right. Yeah. So then we're saying that we want the first index of that particular this whatever this provides you, this series, right? Because the first index is going to be the maximum value, which is the mode, right? So you fill the column with that mode value. Okay. So we'll do it part by part. Um, First, let's look at this, just this part of the thing, right? So we'll do it with one uh, column first, and then we'll do one by one. So df dot x dot mean, if I were to look at it, so yeah, so y, you can just take y here because x has all values. So print. So this is just going to give you 20, right? So now what we're saying you fill the column with the mean. So now that part becomes here. So df dot y of y, let's say, dot fill na with the mean. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know why they have done this. So in place has to be used. Okay. This will work because it's again reapplying it back to the data frame. Here, because we're not changing the data frame in any way, so we are putting it right. Uh, Equivalently, we can write like this. So you can say df dot of y equal to this. Okay. So as you can see, for the y column, now we have filled whatever the NaN values were with the mean of the remaining values, which is 10 plus 20, 30 is 40 by 2 is 20. Okay. Now, next, let's look at this else part of the condition. So let's say we are looking at df of z. Okay. Um, yeah. And then dot value counts. So if I were to print this, yeah. So you can see that high has two, values. Two frequency of occurrence is 2. So let's say we'll put some more things here. Okay. So then you can see, so high has 2 and hello is 1. So this dot value counts always gives you a series in which the first entry is the most frequent value, right? Which basically is a definition of mode, right? Now, this is a series. Its index is what we are looking at. So its index is going to be uh, high and hello, right? In that order. So we want the first index. So we are taking of 0. Okay, so we have gotten high now. So now what we're saying, okay, whatever NaN values are there in this particular column, you fill it with high, basically the mode of that column. Okay, so that's going to be df of z becomes df of z dot fill na. Okay, and then this whole thing.
What if both the elements have the same value?
Same value, yes. So then what will happen is, I think it takes the first occurring this one. So let's just do that. Easier to, yeah, take a detour here. Yeah. So now
In the
same
Excel.
length. Okay. Yeah. So here hi and hello. So first hi has come. So I think that's why it's chosen hi as two here, right? Now let's say if I were to change it to like this, hello first and then hi, right? So then it's going to give you hello first, right? Let's say if it was even more, bit more uh, different like this, right? So whichever is the first occurrence that gets the top priority.
Got
Is
it.
that clear?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So that's the thing. And so now, so basically this is what the, so a simpler way of doing all of this, instead of doing it column by column, what they have given is a one blanket statement sort of a thing where you can check if the data type is float or not. If it is float, you would want to impute by mean, otherwise by the mode of the data, mode of the column. Okay. And uh, now let's just try that here. Yeah. So as you can see, if it is float, it's filling up with, it's filling up with, the mean of the data set, which is in this case 25, I guess, 90%, yeah, 25. And then because hello is the first one that is present here, the mode becomes hello. And then you're filling the last column, last row, Z column with hello. Is that okay? Does that clarify your doubts?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So, okay, so we have covered whatever was pending from the last this one. Shall we? So we'll go with the quiz, the week 3 assignment. Um, yeah, so the first one we just covered right now. That's the correct way to fill missing values in case of categorical variables would be the mode, right? You cannot compute mean, you cannot compute median for categorical variables. Mode is a good enough way to fill missing values, right? Okay. Um, Right. So let's say you have some data frame like this, and what they're saying is of the following set of statements, which of them can be used to extract the column type as a separate data frame, right? So you want so you want the final result you want as a data frame, and you want only the type column in it, right? So for that, what we can do? So let's say let's just create um, um, sorry, yeah. So DF is pandas. Just copy it down here. Okay. Right. Now, what do we want? We want, let's say, basically you want one column, but as a data frame. So let's say if I were to do something like this as DF cars of uh, type, but the type is again inside a list, right? That makes a difference. So let's say if I were to say DF of um, X, right? Print of this. So this is going to give me uh, this X column only, but the resultant thing is a data frame, not a series, right? Versus, let's say if I were to do something like df print of df of X, right? So this is a series, whereas this is a data frame. Okay, and you can check that. I mean, you can check with the type and all of that here. Okay. So the first option is fine. Second option is it's erroneous in the first place. I mean, uh, the brackets itself are not matched, right? So that's not going to work. The third option, DF cars of LOC of, then you have a colon, right? And then a column list with only one number, right? So let's just see what happens there. The print of DF of log of this one, right? So that's exactly what they are, asking to check here. So then let's just see if that comes out. right? So this is again a data frame with just one column. Okay, so these both options are correct. Any doubts here?
No doubt, Raj.
Okay. Then the method tfcast.describe will give description of which of the following column: car name, brand, price in lakhs, all of the above. Uh, any
All
thoughts?
numerical,
What would happen?
all numerical columns summary.
All numerical column summary.
Describe will give what only with numerical.
Numerical,
The
right? So hence,
the
right. So
category.
hence you'll have, so hence you'll have only price, right? Uh, yeah. So hence you'll have only price that will come in. Okay. Uh, Fine. Then which pandas function is used to stack the data frames vertically? Um, so here, I mean, concatenation function. So basically, what you can do is, yeah. So let's say you have df1, right, and df2, yeah, mm, and then you can just write pandas.concat of df1 comma df2, and you can see what df is doing here. All right. So we'll just close this. Yeah. So yeah, so as you can see here, so first your the data df1 is put here, right? And then you have the second data frame, and therefore, so you're able to basically stack them vertically. Okay, that's the idea.
So
The
does concatenation, is there any condition that both the data frames should match with the size?
with columns, you mean?
Yeah, rows and
Yeah, yeah.
columns.
There are, I think Panda supports both of the options. So where you can, put as null and all of that. So let's say DF doesn't have that column, let's say, right? Um, so then it'll by default put it as nans for the second, in the second data frame values.
Got it. Thanks.
Sir, how are you going to deal with the missing value here?
Um, Deal in the sense, what do you want to do? Uh,
If you have a missing value,
okay. Uh, so So it's just going to keep the missing value as it is, right? It won't affect that. And
His
then you
question
can do
is,
whatever you have.
sorry to interrupt. This question is like whether we
Ah,
keep that or whether we delete the entire row, or are we going to substitute with any other value, like what we did with mean and as well as in the other one, right? So that was
correct.
the.
Ha ha. Ha. So, 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 so so it basically depends upon what uh, so all the approaches are fine as long as you can rationalize those approaches. So let's say in this case, if there is no z value for this particular second data frame, then you need to decide for yourself like whether it is okay or not okay. If it is okay, then you will continue using it. Otherwise, you will have to solve it in some other form. For example, let's say if genuinely this data is missing from some data set which you're trying to read and try to do your work on, right? So if it is not present there, you have no choice other than going to the data set and fixing there, or you say, okay, you know what, this may not work for me, so I will not take this data set, or you will say, okay, let me try handling this in some way that I can at least rationalize it, right? So in that case, so it depends upon your use case. Does that help?
Yes.
Okay. Um, yeah. So merge function is basically it does your inner joins and outer join sort of things. So let's say if you what shall we do this? So pandas dot merge, right? Um, and let's
Sir, I
say I
have a
merge.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. Where we get this video, recorded video? Is it possible to get?
Yeah, so all the recorded videos are present. You can just see this tab, problem solving session. And this has a link to the uh, uh, an Excel sheet, Google Sheets, which has the link to all of this.
Okay.
Uh,
In the same
okay.
portal. SWAYAM portal.
Yeah, Swayam portal only. This is Swayam portal, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can see here. So every week we put in our YouTube link. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So pandas dot merge. Let's say. Now. Um. This suppose actually many options. And we'll do a few. I'll just show you what the thing is. So let's say. Okay. So this is not. Merged. So here now what has happened is, let's say, so we were saying that these two data frames, you merge them based on their index values, right? So whenever, so because in this data frame, the zeroth index, that is the first row, was all of this 1, 10, and hello. That got mapped with the values 1 and 10 in this data frame. Okay. Um, and let's just make it a bit easier. Um, so as you can see here, right? One, who is, yeah. Um, Yeah. So then, that's basically your pandas dot merge, and we're saying that you do it based on the indexes. So you see the right index, left index, and the right index, and merge those particular rows. Between them, you have to you do the merge option, but you can also do a bit differently. Um, so for this, what I will do is I will. Uh, I don't know why Teams is behaving this way today. Um, so for this, what we'll do. mm, okay, I think we're fine. So let's go back. Let's go back to this, and then or let's have this. Yeah. So then what I will say is I'll say, instead of doing this option, uh, do this left on is, I think the column name is sufficient, I guess. Yeah. And right on. So you're saying you use the X column name from the left data frame. So this is the left, whatever is present given the first option. And the right data frame is, this is the right one. Use the X X column in that data frame, and on those particular columns you have to merge, right? So in that, what will happen is you will see something like this, right? So the one here and one here gets mapped, right? Previously it was on the index number. Here it's on the column value, right? Uh, and you can see, because 5 doesn't exist in this data frame, there's no entry of 5 here. And 15 doesn't exist in this data frame, so there's no entry of 15 also here. That is because we have chosen to do inner join. So inner join is basically, it says the value should exist on the left and as well as on the right. Only then only then a final entry will be made in this merged data frame, right? But inner can be, I mean, how the how argument can take, I think it can take, I think it can take outer, it can take left, stuff like that. So let me just confirm that for you. So here is the, yeah. So left would be only use, make sure all the elements in the left are present, left data frame are present. Right would make sure the right data frame, everything is present. Outer would make sure everything has to be present, right? So then how will we, how does the data frame look like that? How will it look? Is, let's say if I do outer, right? Now you can see there's an entry for X5 also, but there is no value in df2 for x5, right? So therefore I have 9, right? This yy is this data frame's column, all right? And 15 has a value in the second data frame but not the first data frame, so therefore you have 9 in the columns for the first data frame. Okay, similarly if I use left, um, it will make sure it has 5 but no 15 anymore, right? 15 is present here but not here. 5 is present in the first data frame but not the second, so therefore 5 is present here because you're using left join and not the right join, right? And right would be, would do the opposite. Okay, we have entered for 15. So this is the pandas merge option. This becomes very useful when you are looking at, let's say, multiple different data sets which are talking about the same, let's say, phenomena. So then you need, let's say you want to have all of the data in one particular data frame, then this merge options becomes useful. All right. Okay, hopefully this was useful. Any doubts, let me know. Otherwise, we'll move to the next question. So which of the following are libraries in Python? Pandas, Matplotlib, NumPy, all of them are the libraries which we are aware of. There's a question. Kaif
All of the
Khan, can you ask your question? Uh, Kaif, can you ask your question? Okay, fine. So then we have the next questions require a CSV file and data frame to read it as. So we'll see what this is. So this is a data frame here, and I think I have it already present here. Yeah. So let's just do it here. Um, yeah. So first of all, import pandas dot read CSV, flavors of cocoa dot CSV. So I already I have it in the same data directory, so I can just use that. And okay. Uh, yeah, so let's just look at the data frame once. So we have df. Cool. Yeah. So we have some ID, we have company, bean origin, and so on and so forth. Then, which of the following variables have null values? So how will we check which variable has null values?
Two types are there, is NA and is null. You can use that.
Right. So, and how will we use it?
The data frame, the column, I mean the square bracket, and the column name dot is null of function dot sum of. Suppose
Yeah.
if
So
we need to check
company.
the company, right? So df company is null dot sum of.
Right. Right. Correct. Is this okay? And then I guess there's a df.info, I guess, which tells you this not null wala thing, at least a bit straightforward way, which is basically in this particular way, right? So here you can see non-null count, and then uh, so we have 1975 rows in this data frame, and what we're seeing here is ID, company, bean origin, all of them have all the values as not null. Only the one thing that's pending is review date. Right? So review date is basically has some four values which are null. And let's just confirm that, and we can do it in review date. Right? So yeah, so four values are null, right? So therefore the answer becomes review date. Okay. Then, which of the following countries have maximum locations of cocoa manufacturing companies? Any thoughts?
We
How
can
can we do
use
this?
values dot counts of.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. DF dot.
We can use the values underscore counts of.
Right. Value counts, yes. But which value counts though?
We need to use the countries column.
Right.
The
That's the company location.
location, yeah.
Correct. Right. So company location. And yeah, so this value counts gives us in each company how many, sorry, in each country, how many these ID, that is basically how many rows are present. So because each row corresponds to one company, that basically means that in USA there are, I mean, in this data frame, in US there are 764, companies, right? So what we want is the maximum location. The maximum would basically be, again, we discussed just now, dot index of 0. That gives me USA as the maximum. But we're saying among the following ones. So USA is present here. So then USA will be the answer. Okay. Is that, hopefully that's clear. Uh,
Sir, can we use dot max function?
uh, dot max, to where you want to use it? How can you?
Instead of index.
Yeah. You want dot max here. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, sir.
So dot max tells you what is the maximum number, right? But you want to know what is the maximum, the location which has the maximum number, right? That's the what we want to know, right? So this is basically saying, let's just, yeah. So basically what we want to see is we want the company, we want the country which has the maximum number, not the this one. So, but dot max is a valid operation. So this tells you in that maximum location also, which is the how many are there. That's 764. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, yeah. So after checking the data summary, which feature requires a data conversion considering the data values held? Um, so let's just look at these four columns: rating, review date, company, bean origin. Uh, so so review date seems like an integer because it's the year that is being held here. Um, Rating is basically a floating point, right? So, and that we can see here in df.info, rating has gotten floating floor 64. That's perfect, right? Um, but review date has gotten floor 64, which doesn't really make sense, right? Then company is basically some sort of a name, and it has got object. That's fine. Uh, and bean origin. So bean origin is basically again some sort of a string, which is also got object, right? So therefore, review date would make more sense to have it as an integer rather than a float, right? So the answer would be review date. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, then yeah. So what's the max rating of chocolates? So how would you find that? Which column and what's the operation?
Rating one. You can use the unique of to know what are all the variables we have that for that one, and which one is the maximum that we can use that. I mean, that's the my way of doing it.
Right. Okay. Any other approaches? Any other thoughts? So we just want to know the maximum value, right? So we can just do the max. है ना? So dot max will give you the maximum value that any whatever, chocolate has gotten, right? Any company has gotten. Okay. So dot max will give you 5. That's the this one. So you can do that here also. Obviously, I think this is max also supports it's a numpy array, and yeah, dot max also supports by default. Okay. Is that clear? Fine. So then okay, we'll go into this one. Um, yeah. So Q10. So then numpy already we have. So we have B is given as true, 2, 3.0, numpy dot nan, and string false. Yeah. So then we want type of I or I in B, right? So let's print that. Yeah. So here, um, obviously the true is going to be bool. 2 is an integer, right? 3 by 3, if we had just 3, then it's an integer, but we have the 3.0, so that becomes float, right? And in numpy, dot nan, that is your nan, not a number is also taken as float, right? And false is in double quotes, so it becomes string, right? So the correct answer is bool, int, float, float, and string. First option, right? Okay. Um, Hopefully that's clear. Then what does df.info provide? So that we already checked, right? So df.info here, it provides you the non-null count and also the type of each of the column, right? So some of the data frame, including the number of non-null entries. That's the right option. The first 5 rows of data frame, if you want, you will do dot head. That will give you the first 5 rows, right? Um, then data types of the columns, you can just do dot d types. That will give you for every column what's the this one, right? So let's say df dot head if I do here, that gives you the first 5 columns. df dot d types gives you for each column what's the type that it has, and correlation matrix basically dot corr, that is going to come next, I guess, right? So that's the first option. Again, this is also straightforward. So ARR is numpy dot array of
Hello,
uh,
Raj.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
Raj,
go ahead.
actually here there are two answers. Summary and again the C, that is the data types of the columns. There are two answers are true. So there was a slight confusion here
Hmm.
as far as the answer is concerned, but df.info is providing more info than over the data types of the column. That's why I selected the summary of the data frame. But there are two
Right.
answers are correct. Two answers are correct here.
Uh, yeah, you could argue that, but I think here the point is what's the more correct in some sense, because then this is a more correct thing what TF or info provides. But yeah, I mean, your point is well taken. That yes, that this sort of is also what TF or info provides. You're right. Okay. Um, Yeah, the last question. So again, so what is so this sort of indexing or slicing basically tells you what you start from the beginning and go until the end, but you skip by 2, right? You have to go not just by 1, but by 2 steps. So therefore, it starts from 1 and then it skips 2 positions, it goes to 3, again skips 2 positions and goes to 5. Okay, that's the reason why this would be 1, 3, 5. Okay, all right. By the way, if I'd given -1 here, uh, what would be the answer?
It will be the same because -1 is the end.
Actually, it is a reverse. Reverse. Same answer.
In
Same
start,
answer.
end, -1 is an end.
-1 is end, but in indexing, do we consider the last? So if I'd given 10 here, will 10th position be considered?
No, actually, here
We don't
it
have
starts with 0.
we don't have -10 position, right? The
No, no,
reverse one.
correct. No, no. I'm saying in general, when you say when you have these colons, first number, colon, second number, colon, third number. So second number, whatever is there, will that be considered in the slicing or not?
Ideally, it should consider it.
Yes, sir. And it is a end point.
Yes, it should consider it.
No, it won't. No. Why would it consider it? I mean, that's the whole point of range of, if you remember, right? If I give 1 comma 5, what does it mean? It means 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop until stop until one element before 5.
Yeah, the
Correct?
range is the iteration. Here, this is the slice, right? We are picking up a slice. It's
Yes.
already the elements have been generated. The range is going to generate it. So we are going to slicing the already generated piece.
Correct. But slicing doesn't. I mean, in NumPy, in Python, everywhere, regardless of it being generated or not, the idea is that it will go until that index. It won't consider that index element anymore. Okay. So let's say I do something like this: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I want this array of 0 to 3, what do you think is the answer?
It's 0, 1, 2.
Why? Because you just said that even the last one will be considered, no?
Yeah, but in NumPy, it is considered the last element is also considered, right? If we take this same question, what will be the output of the following code? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The answer we are getting is 1, 3, 5. So we are getting the last element also into consideration in that case.
That is fine. No, okay. So this, are you saying that these two are same?
No, you said that the last element should not be considered, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
When you give -1 in the second position, that basically means that the last element will not be considered when you are in your iteration or in your slicing, whatever it is. And by considering, I mean whenever you're trying to print it or whenever you're trying to iterate to this loop, you will not be you will skip this element 5.
Okay, so if we don't consider the end, then it's going to consider it. But if we specify it, it will go up to that value. Please correct me if I'm
Up to
wrong.
that value. Yes,
Okay,
yes,
got
up
it.
to it.
Got it.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
So therefore here the answer would the answer would be, oh, we have changed it right now. Yeah, so the answer here would be um taking so long. So 1, 3, and 5, that is for this particular slicing method. Here 1 and 3, again because we won't take the last element, and then 0 to 3 because it's going to be from yeah. Yeah, apologies. I have no idea why the Teams is behaving this way today. Yeah, so 0 to 3 would basically be the first 3 elements, right? The fourth element, that is this 4, will not be considered, right? Well, looking at the this one.
Yeah, but Raj, if we look at the options, right, there is a comma, right, for every element because that is considered as a normal list elements. But whatever we are getting the output is the NumPy values, right? Array values like 1, space 3 space 5, but that doesn't
Huh.
match to any of the options there.
Ha 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 ha. Ha. Yeah, this comma is not right in that sense. I think
Mhm.
what they want is to basically say that what elements will be present. That's basically just going to be 1, 3, and 5. Yeah. Okay. Any other doubts here in this quiz or um
No,
in
sir.
week
So far,
one
so
to
good,
four
sir.
lectures? Yeah. Sorry.
So far, so good, sir.
So far so good. Okay, fine. So now let's get into the four lectures. So any doubts or you like uh shall we go to practice assignment directly, or do you want to
Yeah,
cover any doubts on regression classification? And we also have some supporting material. So there, if you have any doubts, we can start. You can do that.
yeah, Raj, one quick
Uh,
question. Uh, Sorry, please go ahead.
Raj, sir, could you
Yeah.
go for the classification problem? Sorry, regression problem in case study? Because since case study on regression for part two, they started doing something different, which which I feel very difficult to understand. Could you make it simplify if it is possible for you?
Yeah, sure. You're saying the regression wala part, right? Video 2, is that the one?
Huh. Yes, yes, part two.
Okay. Um, so again, what was unclear here? Um, if there's a
There
specific,
are few things are
yeah.
covered which are not actually this hyperparameter tuning they are talking about, and there are few things which are not in a normal sense. They are quite difficult to understand for me. For others, it may not be case.
Uh, as far as I remember, they don't cover hyperparameter tuning in this video,
And
right?
to add to that, Raj,
Yeah.
so most of
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
in this week, right, week 4, and also I have observed in week 3 as well, some of the commands, right, they are
Hmm.
deprecated. And this video was recorded, I think, in 2019, where the pandas version was less than zero point 0.3. So the question here is, will the exam will be framed with the latest version or with the older version, what the video content has? Because some of the commands doesn't execute. If we copy paste, it doesn't
Okay.
work. We throw out an error.
Mm-hmm.
That we have
Mm,
already, and my friends also have posted in the Q&A question in the discussion forum that couple of the commands are not working because most of them are deprecated in the latest version. Say, for example,
mm,
the second one, somebody has said that car not working. And
okay.
in the video, it has been shown that that command that the first one, that is data2.car, has been executed without any syntax error. And it would be great if we can have the like what you are showing the live session, right? And that could be the best one instead of putting the screenshots in some places, which does not help us to deep dive more into that.
Mm,
So just a small feedback that I am providing, just
mm,
to make it more interactive kind of a thing, rather than putting the screenshot will not help actually. Like what you have showing the live thing, right? Executing there itself with the different options, that will, make it more understandable rather than just putting
mm.
one set of the inputs in the screenshot.
No, no, I understand. I think that's the reason why NPTEL started this, live sessions. But as to your question on what version will be used, etc., again, I'll have to repeat myself that we don't know much. We don't know what's the exam pattern, what version will be used, etc. Uh, 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 have we have they asked like have you asked in the group? Is there no answer or
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
the issue?
One of the friend has asked that what version that we will be using it for the exam, but we haven't got any answer for that.
Okay. Let me take a note. If possible, I'll just email the professor on this one. It seems to be
That would be
coming up
great.
again and
Yeah,
again.
yeah, that would be great. That will help us to preparing in for the exam with that particular version.
Right, makes
Thanks.
sense. Makes
Thanks.
sense. Okay. Um, yeah. Yeah. So we can do the regression one first. That's fine. Um, they've also given the data sets, right, somewhere. Um, Data sets.
It is there.
And this is which one? The cars data set, is it? The regression is the cars data set. So cars sample is this one. Um, who has their mic on? Can you please switch it off? Okay, let's just get that. Mm, mm, three, four, right? Okay. Okay. Uh, just create a new one. So and this is car sample. Okay. So import pandas and store reads CSV. Yeah. So what all do we have here? So we have some 50,001 rows for this. Yeah. Um, oh God. Huh. Uh, okay. And so what's the dependent variable here in this car study?
The target one is the price.
Price, is it? Okay. DF of car price?
Yeah.
Price. Okay. So DF of price. Right. So for yeah, so 50,001 entries for each of them having some price here. Okay. Um, see, so it would help to understand what is the exact uh, doubt as such. I mean, do you want me to walk through the whole video? That doesn't seem like a good option.
Actually, Raji, what they have done in the video, they
Huh.
trying to make category of the cars which have been
Okay.
greater than or equal to 2018 and greater than sorry, less than or equal to 2018 and greater than or equal to 1950. So this
Okay.
kind of say, grouping is done. That is somewhat difficult to
Huh.
understand.
Okay. So uh, uh, okay. So basically the idea is let's just do that. So let's say cars dot let's say years of registration. I think that's the thing. Year of registration, right? That's the column. Yeah. So let's say value counts. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So what you can see here, so it seems like there is some car for whom the year of registration is 8500, right? Which doesn't really make sense, right? So this sort of thing is common when you're dealing with real world data. So you will have some feature, some value would be incorrectly captured because of some human error or some machine error, etc., etc., right? So this basically falls under the group idea of EDA, right? So you're doing EDA and basically doing something like a data cleaning sort of first step, right? What you want to do is basically trying to understand what all features are present. Is there any problem in the data set? And also how you want to handle that problem. That is again on your side. Either you want to remove that whole data or you want to impute it in some different way, etc., etc. All of that is your call. The approach that which has been taken here is they're saying, okay, we will not even consider those cars who have this sort of weird year of registration values, right? Now, what it seems like is the video was made in 2019, right? So therefore, any what you can say car which has a year greater than 2019 will not make sense, right? So therefore, now what I can do is I can remember this sort of a comparison will yield a series. That series of each item will be a bool, right? It'll be zero or false or true, right? So if I were to do dot sum, that tells me the number of cars who have their this feature being greater than 2019, right? Which is 24 cars. So which is so then you can take a call saying, okay, among 50,000 cars, if I lose 24, it's fine. It's not going to be that big of a problem. So so what they said is they said, okay, we'll not even consider these you know cars. Now, there are also some which are like, I think what they've taken is 1950. Huh? So they're saying, okay, some numbers which are like 1928, where still cars were still being formed, right? So they have taken some sort of a lower bound also on that, saying 1950. Any cars which are greater than 1950 only we will take. So now we'll see how many such conditions, such values are there. There is like another 39 cars which have a number less than 1950, right? So these really don't make sense to me. So then what they said, okay, we will not consider them. How do you do that? So for that, what you will say df of year of registration. Is it oh, 2018 they have taken, fine. So less than or equal to 2018, uh, right? Then again, see, remember this gives you one uh, series, which is true or false values. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I am, uh, yeah, what I'm doing is I have another series, which is, yeah. So I have another series, which is basically, what's it? Greater than or equal to 950. Yeah. So greater than or equal to 1950. Okay. This is also another series, right? So now I'm saying I want only those which are between these two. That's basically a and operation, right? So for that, how you do that in pandas between two series is this bitwise and operators, right? So if I tell you this is one series and then and with another series, right? So this gives you again a Boolean series which has true or false in it. Then you will use this to filter out. So basically, let's say I'll call this as year filter, right? Um, and then I can do df of year filter. That tells you I have so many rows pending. That is from 50,001. I've gotten 49,036 rows from there, right? So that is that clear? Why the reasoning of why they have done this? Point number one. Point number two, how to do it. The AND operation, the bitwise AND operation is what does the AND between two series, two Boolean series, two Boolean pandas series. Okay. So
So
then,
for sorry to interrupt. For the year of registration, it's clear that okay, 2018 and 1950. But how about the prices and other variables, right? So this is going
huh,
to be a nutshell to decide what would be the best suitable for that. Can you take another
yes. So
yeah, please.
So basically, again, all of these bounds that they have taken is all subjective in nature. There's no at least the one that they've presented here. There is no clear-cut way of choosing these things, right? Um, so then, for example, what you can do is you can look at the quantiles. So let's say price is there, right? So TF dot price, and I think it's uh, quantiles. Is that correct? Mm, I'll have to check. And series quantiles. Oh, quantile. Okay, sorry. So dot quantile. That's a method. Yeah. So and what Panda series does is it provides you a okay. So um, it provides you a queue which quantiles you want, right? So that you can get from here. So Q equals to, let's say, um, 0, 0 0.1, 0 0.9, 0.99, and so on. So what we're saying is 99% of the values in the price column are below this number. That is 36,800, right? But whereas if I were to look at uh, yeah, one is this one, right? One will be the max, the df dot price dot max is this number, right? So basically what we're saying is 99% of the values are below this number, which is this around 36,800 rupees, 800 whatever units, right? So for for the remaining 1%, right, your algorithm, whichever you might use, can become biased towards this very high number, right? So hence what we generally, I mean, this is done sometimes, not done sometimes, depending on, again, these are all very subjective decisions. But here the approach chosen is basically saying that, okay, we will not look at very high values and we'll look at some number which is intermediate, right? Some useful sort of a bound, which doesn't seem like it's a very weird, value here, right? And see, again, this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, that's very unlikely that it's an actually an actual car price, right? So these sort of things you'll have to do it. But the point here is that if you have such rules in mind, how would you enforce them in your data set, right? That is what I would take from this video, the basics part of it at least. All right. Um, And then the point is very simple, because now you just want to have another filter to be added, right? So then you will say, okay, I will choose between 500 and what they've chosen like, I guess, 1.5 lakh, right? So then that's going to be very simple. You can just say df dot same idea, price, sorry, greater than, let's say, 500, and then right? And then you'll have df of price um, less than, is this 1.5 lakhs. Yeah. Uh, okay. And this becomes TF. So this becomes the filter. And we also want the year of registration filter. So that's going to become another and here. right? Because we want only those cars which have all of these conditions as true, right? That becomes your final condition. Okay, so we have about 44,366 rows. Is that clear?
So you have used 0.1 and then 0.9, then 0.99, right? So that's from your knowledge that you have added. So the question here is, how do we arrive to those numbers so that we
Hmm.
can get the boundaries properly?
Huh. So for that, what you have to do is you have to look at the histograms, right? So I don't remember the, I guess hist does it or not? Okay, it's doing it. So so here you can see some. Sorry, go ahead. Huh. So here you can see that when you plot the histogram, you can see that a lot of the numbers are between this, like between 0 and 0.18 or something, 15 or something, right? Again, this remember that the scale here is 10 power 7, right? So this tells you how skewed the data is, right? So basically, what this plot tells you is that there are a lot of values between in that range, in this small range, and then there could be some very weird values which are very high, right? So this sort of a thing you will have to do for every feature, for every column that you want to use in your ML in your model, right? You'll have to understand exactly for every feature what is the range it's taking, uh, uh, does the range make sense, and so on and so forth. So this tells you visually what is the problem, and then you can use this quantile. So quantile is basically telling you it will show you in some way to quantify what your histogram is telling you, because here that exactly points to what the plot is saying, right? It's saying 99% of the values are below 40K, and there is just 1% which is above this in this very weird range, right?
So the x-axis is the price, right?
Yeah,
Right.
correct. Yes, that's correct. So x
So the,
is the price and y is the count of those values.
okay, can we get that in the numbers instead of point 0, point 0.2? That will be a little bit confusion for us because the prices are in terms of integers, right? Can we get that? Because if you look at the data frame, the prices are in integers.
See, that's the whole point. I mean, that's exactly what you're also going towards, is because see, the point is you need to represent all of the values here, right? I mean, that hist function is trying to plot all of the values. Now, because there is one value which is like this 10 power 7 value, right? Uh, in what scale else, in which other scale will you plot to be able to understand that this particular range has such huge number of values? Does that make sense? Like, how will you plot integers here? Because all of these are very, very small. So then you have to do either log plot sort of things, and then try to see what is the problem, or the only way is try to handle this sort of a scenario.
Can we limit the x1 here using the xlim and plot it? That would be more readable font. Can we use
Uh,
xlim?
y- yeah, so you can do xlim, but xlim is just going to change the plot for you.
Yeah, that would
But
be more
the issue is
readable
still
rather
there.
than that would be more readable, right? Instead of this, this is going to be a little bit, I mean, tedious to analyze, right? That will be more
Uh,
readable if we have X limited.
no. See, I mean, so you can make your plot more beautiful and all of that. That is fine. The issue still exists. That is what I'm trying to allude towards.
Can
Do
you
you
can you
agree with
just
that?
break down the X lim so that that will be, I mean, just to understand. will be more
Uh,
readable.
so I think this is how it is done, but it's been a while. So set x lim, I think. Let's say 0 to
Some 500 or 1,000 or
that.
10,000. Yeah.
Mm, oh, yeah, no, I'm not sure how to do that here. Uh, I don't use this as much, so
Yeah.
so
Let me give the command. So that will be readable version. Let me put that in the chat. We can use the Seaborn. That will be a more readable one. Yeah.
does this support? Okay. Here we go. Yeah, Plotly is a bit easier to deal with. So let's say here, for example, 12 million, right? And then in Plotly, you can also do something like play with it interactively. I don't know if that's allowed here. And so then you can select a part of it. So you can just see here that
Yes.
within this region, you have this sort of a breakdown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is more readable one. Yeah. So that we can take a call
Correct.
like what boundaries that we can use it rather than using a
Yeah.
point to point C. That will be little bit more, that needs a more expertise kind of a thing, right?
Mm, mm. Yeah. Um, does this help? Any further questions on this item or anything else? So basically, what we have done here is we have excluded some of the cars because based upon some common sense knowledge that the year cannot be in the future, cannot be too far up, too too much in the past. The price will not be, let's say, less than 100 and more than, let's say, some 1.5 lakhs or whatever, right? Those sort of things is what we have done. You can do that in two ways. One is by either using common sense knowledge or by using this sort of a setting where you try to visualize the data a bit and see if there are any strong outliers coming in. If there are outliers, then you need to see what is the right range to work with, right? Because outliers could mean that they are because of some sort of a error in the data, right? So you need to deal with that errors also in the data when working with real world data sets. Okay. Is the philosophy clear, and is the way clear, like how you would do it in one scenario? Okay. Um, so any other doubts? Do we understand exactly how to do the regression finally? Um, Using the sklearn method? So we do this dot get dummies in pandas, right? Why are we doing that? So what does that dot dummies help us do? Any thoughts? Uh, can no doubts, no thoughts. So basically so get dummies will basically convert your categorical data type into a one hot encoding sort of a scenario, right? And that's required so that because your things like linear regression, logistic regression cannot work with string data types. It needs numbers at the end of the day. So that's one way to convert it into um, numeric format, right? Um, so let's say you have, let's say, three categories. Say cat, dog, and monkey, right? In some data frame. Okay. So the way to convert this that's basically used is something like you say wherever cat is there, that gets encoded as 1, 0, and 0. Dog will get encoded as, let's say, 0, 1, 0, and then monkey will get encoded as 0, 0, 1, right? So by making them in three different features, right? In three different features, we are saying that these represent different concepts in the feature space, right? And hence, this sort of helps the model to understand, okay, this is something else. This representation is different from this representation. Okay. Um, so one quick question. Let's say uh, if I have something like poor, good, excellent, right? Some feature which basically has let's say some exam performance, right? So you don't have the exact marks in the exam, but you have some sort of a grading, right? How do you think uh, what's the right way to encode this for the model for any model which requires numbers at the end of the day? How would you think about doing it? Any thoughts? Would you treat it as categorical? Is it categorical in nature, this data? What is range between numerical data type? But you don't have the numerical, no? So you don't have the a number. Let's say you don't have the marks that the student, let's say some student got, but you just have the grading. You just have like poor, good, excellent. So how would you convert into a number? So in this scenario, generally what we do is so the difference between this and this cat dog monkey example here is that there is no natural ordering in the cat monkey dog. There is no way to tell. I mean, there's no uh, uh, you know uh, thing that says a cat is greater than dog, right? There's nothing like this that you can form some relation between the two categories. Whereas here there is a clear categorical ordering that is present. That is good is better than poor, right? And excellent is greater than, let's say, good, right? So there is some ordering also involved. So you want the model to be able to capture that sort of an ordering, right? So one approach that people take is you just give, let's say, poor is 0, good is 1, excellent is, let's say, 2, this sort of a thing, right? So this is called basically a label encoding, right? There is a inherent order, and then you want the model to be aware of that order, right? This is basically called a one-hot encoding, right? So where there is no order between the categories, but they are different entities altogether. There is no way to naturally order them. Okay. Then in such cases, you will use it. You will use the model in that sense. Okay. So Mohit, ARR samples, I'm guessing it's the NumPy array. Is that what you're asking? Or it's a tuple, is it? Okay.
Hello.
Sorry.
This is only a array, a simple array. In that, the we use a pop-up to remove the element at a given index from the object and print the same. When I apply this pop-up, then it gives an this error tuple object has no attribute pop. Whereas when I apply in the list, then it gives means it removes the element. So why this error
Okay.
occur? I want.
Okay. So let's say I have the two variables like this. Okay. And let's say if I were to do t dot pop and then l dot pop.
Yes.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah. So let's just do the first one. So are tuples mutable or immutable?
Immutable.
So pop operation basically removes the element from any object that you have. But because tuples it's immutable, you cannot remove, you cannot add, you can't do all of that. So hence t dot pop gives an error. Basically saying that there is no method itself. This pop as a function doesn't apply to tuples. All right. Whereas for lists it
Okay.
can, because of the fact that
Yes.
because they are mutable, right? So if I were to
Okay.
print L
Yes.
here and print L here, there will be two different lists. Yeah, same
Yes.
list but changed. Yeah. Okay. Is that
Okay.
clear?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any other doubts in the supporting material? Any doubts there in terms of model assessment or cross validation? What is cross validation, etc., etc.? So, um, so this idea of basically something called as cross validation came about basically in to handle things like something called as hyperparameter, right? So imagine, let's say, uh, in in general, let's say model training or this fitting linear regression or fitting this logistic regression. The idea is something like this. Let's say if you have a kid who goes through multiple, questions and answers, right? Q&As. Then how do you know whether the kid has learned the right things or not? So what you will do is you will give some sort of, you will give only partial view of this question and answers to the kid, and you will keep some hidden, which will become the exam, right? So exam Q&A will be different, and this will be your, let's say, training or learning wala question and answers, right? So here, the idea is that this becomes so uh, if the kid has learned very if they have learned um, the concept very well, they will be able to do well in the exam. If they have only memorized the question and answers from the learning part of it, they might not be able to do well in the exam question and answers, right? Something which they have never seen before. Um, Now, this is basically the idea of training and testing, right? But in many of the ML algorithms, right, you have additional parameters which cannot be learned from the data, right? Um, so then how do we set them? Because these parameters will affect how your algorithm is running. Algorithm convergence, etc., is depends upon um, these additional parameters also. So then what we do is we don't just do the train test split, but we also do a validation split. So we say training part, validation part, and then testing part, right? So then what you do is you train the model on training data set, and you see how the model is doing on validation data set, right? Um, and based upon these two, you will now choose these extra parameters, right? Additional parameters which you have, and use that to understand the testing data set performance. Okay, so this is basically validation idea, and then cross validation is you when you repeat this for multiple times, you keep choosing different parts of the data set as validation and training and testing, and you do that. That's basically your cross validation. Okay. Any doubts in the uh, first few weeks? So next week also we will have a session. I mean, I've requested NPTEL. If it's approved, then we'll have it next week, and we can discuss we'll discuss week 4 solutions, and also any in general whatever doubts you have for the whole syllabus, right? Um, any other doubts or questions?
सर ये मैं क्लासिफिकेशन रिग्रेशन में नहीं था, लेट में रजिस्टर कर रहा हूँ तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आया वो.
So what is unclear? You'll have to be specific.
क्लासिफिकेशन एंड रिग्रेशन वाला था ना, केस स्टडी.
Yes.
मैं लेट रजिस्टर करा था, इसीलिए मेरे को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कुछ.
So you can register late, it's fine. That's not a problem. But you can just go through the week lectures and let me know exactly what doubt you have. So next week also we have the session. I would suggest go through it and see what is exactly the doubt, because this is basically building upon your week 3, week 2 ideas, right? How do you read the data frame? How do you filter the data frame, which is what we discussed today? a couple of ideas in that scenario, and then you'll get to know how to do it basically.
ओके सर।
सर मैं
Yeah.
फिर से सेकंड वीक का वही वाली बात पूछना चाह रहा था सर, जो मैंने वो ट्यूपल वो उसका पता है जो लेक्चर था, उस लेक्चर में 24 मिनट पे 9 सेकंड पे जो बता रहे हैं मैडम, वो यही बता रहे हैं कि अगर वो मतलब हम उसको वो करते हैं, मतलब अरे सैंपल डॉट पॉप करते हैं तो उनका जो आउटपुट आ रहा है वो 3 आ रहा है,
Hmm.
और मेरा
Hmm.
आउटपुट एरर में आ रहा है।
Um, which this one, if you remember?
सर वीक 2 सीक्वेंस डेटा पार्ट 4।
Part 4. Okay.
ये सर 24 मिनट।
24 minutes.
ये सर बस यहीं पे वो जो पॉप बता रहे हैं, पॉप रिमूव द एलिमेंट एट ए गिवन इंडेक्स फ्रॉम ऑब्जेक्ट्स एंड प्रिंट द सेम। तो यहाँ पर जब मैं यही वाला मतलब कमांड उसमें दे रहा हूँ जुपिटर नोटबुक में, तो वो यहाँ पे जैसे
Hmm.
आउटपुट 3 बता रहे हैं वीडियो में, और मुझे ये एरर बता रहा है।
So here, what is ARR sample, right? That's important. Abhi यहाँ in this you will see, yeah. So ARR sample is a array, right?
यस
So
यस
how have they made the array?
सर ऊपर बनाया है, अरे सैंपल पूरे ऊपर बनाए हैं उन्होंने।
Do you know the exact this one? Oh, here we go. Okay,
नीड्स।
here we go. So ARR sample. So from array import.
यहाँ
See,
यस
again,
सर।
the idea is that arrays are basically mutable. So therefore you can do the pop and all of that, right? So it'll be array of I for ARR sample dot pop. Is this what you're saying?
यस सर।
Ah, uh, okay. Array. So here, what's happening is this doesn't give an error because arrays are mutable, right? So therefore, you
ओके
can perform the pop operation without any issue. For tuples, it won't work. That's exactly what we saw here, right? And in pop, the idea is if whatever is the last element will be given unless you provide an index, right? So,
सर मैं वही जानना चाह रहा था एक्चुअली, जैसे मैं आ, जो इन्होंने बताया हुआ है, मैं वही जानना चाह रहा हूँ। जैसे मैंने प्रिंट अरे सैंपल करा, तो जो वहां पर जो दिया है, मैं मेरी वो शेयर नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ जुपिटर नोटबुक, अदरवाइज मैं वो शेयर करता। तो जो उधर आउटपुट आ रहा है वही आ रहा है। फिर जब मैं अरे सैंपल डॉट पॉप कर रहा हूँ तो मुझे ट्यूपल ऑब्जेक्ट हैज नो एट्रीब्यूट पॉप ये एरर दे रहा है, जबकि जो जो वो लेक्चर है उसमें वो आउटपुट 3 दे रहा है। मतलब वो पूरी तरह से डिलीट कर रहा है, ये मेरा कहना है। मतलब मेरा क्यों ऐसा अरे सैंपल पॉप में वो ये वाला वो दे रहा है एरर, ये मैं जानना चाह रहा था।
uh, then possibly your array sample is not array, it's a tuple. कहीं तो मतलब
नो सर, नो
there's
नो
some
एक्चुअली,
place where you have mixed up.
नो सर, व्हेन आई गिव कमांड प्रिंट अरे सैंपल, सो इट गिव्स आउटपुट प्रॉपर अरे आई 1 2 3 4।
Hmm.
एंड व्हेन आई गिव मतलब जब मैं वो पॉप वाला वो कर रहा हूँ तो वो मुझे ये एट्रीब्यूट ये दे रहा है ये। मैं इसके पहले का भी आपको शेयर करता हूँ कि मैं उसमें जैसे प्रिंट अरे सैंपल है ना, आउटपुट इस ये देखिए सर, जब मैं प्रिंट अरे सैंपल दे रहा हूँ तब मुझे आउटपुट ये दे रहा है, जो सेम लेक्चर में भी जो मैडम बता रही है वही आ रहा है। और जब मैं इसके जब मैंने ऊपर बताया था कि अरे सैंपल पॉप दे रहा हूँ, तब वो मुझे ट्यूपल की बात कर रहा है, और जबकि लेक्चर में वो एरर नहीं दिखा रहा है। ये मेरा कहना है।
Right. So you will have to share the whole this आपका क्या बोलते हैं वो your whole file you'll have to share, because otherwise it's not possible to check, because there could be some operation that you're doing in between that's happening by mistake or whatever, which is causing
ओके
the ARR sample to become tuple, right?
ओके ओके
So you can do one thing. You can see if you can put it in the Q&A, this one, right? The discussion forum, and just tag me in
ओके
there. Just put my name. I'll check it, and I'll check and tell. Okay.
ओके 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 ओके
Sir, I have
थैंक
put
यू।
one question here in the chart.
Yeah.
If you can see that question. Lambda, how to
Sort.
use that lambda?
Yeah, sorted of pair list key x1 x0. Yeah. So I am assuming this pair list is basically a list of tuples having two elements. Is that
Yes,
how it
correct.
is?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So pair list is, let's say,
Just like
so we are doing by
X and Y coordinates or something like
x and y. Right.
whatever.
So uh, 5, and then let's just use 110, and then 8. Okay, fine. So let's just see what's coming out in the sorted list, and then we'll slowly go back, right? So here the sorted basically as a function takes in some list, whatever. This list could be a very complicated list, not a problem. The idea is we're saying that you want to sort this list based on some value, which is part of the list itself. Okay. But the point is, what is that value? So that value is what we are creating here. Okay. So we're saying that for every element in this list, that is, so x basically, lambda x is there, right? This x becomes every element in the list. So for the first element, it'll be 3, 10, 2, 5, and so on. Then what we're saying you form a new tuple, because this is exactly what they're saying, right? Form a new tuple. In that tuple, the first element will be the second element of the x. Okay. And then the second element will be the first element of x. So we are sort of doing the shifting, right? And then we're saying use that as the as a way to sort the list. So now if you see, 2, 5 has come as the first element in the sorted list. Why? Because 5 is the smallest among all the second elements which we have: 10, 5, 10, 15. 5 is the smallest. So it will first check based upon the first element here, which is the second element of the actual list. Okay.
Yes.
Then it says the 10 is duplicated, right? So then what it will do, okay, because 10 is duplicated, fall back on the second element, second element of the new tuple, which is the first element of the original tuples. So which is basically 1 and 3. So therefore 1, 10 becomes the first second sorted value here, then 3, 10, then 8, 15. Okay.
Yes.
So lambda x is basically going to tell you in this particular scenario, it's a function which takes in each element in this list, whatever you're giving, and forms the key that will be used for sorting, based on
Yes.
which you want to sort the original list. Is that
Yes.
does that help?
Yes. That is great, sir. So now
Okay.
one maybe I'm lacking. I'm using this only spider for the
Okay.
interface. Actually, using Anaconda, I wanted to install this one, whatever you are using now. You call it as spoot. Yeah, this one. Oh,
What?
Spooty, right? You are using that interface right now, right? Or which one? That Jupyter. So I want to use
Ah,
Jupyter. How to launch that? I just say launch. Then it is giving on a screen Anaconda toolbox and all this. Jupyter, how do you launch from here? Jupyter. If you allow
so
me to share screen, I can share the screen or otherwise.
uh, no, no. So what you can do is so Spider. I'm not exactly sure of the interface, but the way
Anyway,
you can start Jupyter is very simple. You can just run this command Jupyter Notebook in
uh-huh,
the terminal
uh-huh.
from the command line prompt. So that
Okay.
will basically open up your Jupyter server on the Chrome or whichever
Yeah, Chrome
browser
I
is
am
your
having.
default.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jupyter notebook. How do you get this
notebook.
terminal thing? First to get come to that, you said
Uh,
Python.
does anyone else know? Because I am not used Spider, so I'm not exactly sure.
No,
Um,
Spider. Anyway, I am using that is there.
no, no, yeah. So yeah, so then you can also do from terminal, right? So are you using a Mac or a Windows system?
Windows.
Windows, then it will be a command prompt, right? So in the command prompt, you will have
Uh-huh.
to load up your you know your uh, environment, right? For example, let's say in my case it's
Okay.
in my case it's
Okay.
PNV2, for
Command
example.
prompt. I'm right now. I will go there. Command prompt. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've gone to command prompt. Okay.
Huh.
Now user admin has come. Now what do I type?
So try doing this conda activate conda activate. Did you create a virtual environment or not?
Even Anaconda prompt environment also I have got. There I can type something. Anaconda prompt environment. What
Uh,
you said? C users admin is there. You said
yeah.
notebook, na? Install notebook. What is the command you said just now?
So Jupyter Notebook will launch it, but
Jupyter, percentage Jupyter notebook. Okay, I
no,
will
no,
say that. Hmm?
no. So percentage is not that you need to type. That's the command
Okay.
prompt itself. So again, see,
Hmm.
it's different. It's different in the Windows. So I'm not exactly sure how to guide you here.
Okay, I will
Yeah.
find out. No problem.
Uh, so uh, yeah, I would suggest put it on the discussion forum. So somebody
Uh-huh.
who has done on the
Hmm.
on Windows can help you more clearly.
Okay, I was trying to
Yeah.
install using Anaconda. Using that, I could
Hmm.
successfully use install Spider.
Yeah.
So Spider I am using right now for doing
Huh.
these things.
Right.
So
Um, yeah, you'll have to check online. Yeah, I'm not completely sure.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I will explore
Yeah.
and try.
Uh, uh,
Okay.
so this video is not clear. There's
And
a separate
video
video,
is
right, for
there.
Jupyter
I
setup?
remember I have seen it. Okay.
Yeah, you might want to follow the instructions here because
Okay.
they seem to be doing it on Windows only.
This
Uh,
is which week 3, which week this is
week
there?
two.
Week 2. Okay, I will go through again that video and
Yeah,
try. Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
video once I just saw it, but while installing, I did not.
Right.
So, what is the distinguishing feature of Jupyter from this Spider? I think.
Um, I, Again, see, all of them are very similar sort of things. Jupyter will help you visualize a bit more easily
Uh-huh.
compared to these IDs, Spider and PyCharm and all that. These are mainly meant for development, and Jupyter is like for trying to explore. Um, like when you're learning, it becomes very simpler because then you can see each command what it's doing easily.
Okay.
It's
We
a
don't have
bit
to remember the
complicated
commands.
here, but
We don't have to remember the
sorry.
command. We don't have to remember the syntax of the commands, right?
No, you have to remember the syntax of the commands, because otherwise,
Will
how
it
will
not suggest,
even
will
Jupyter?
it not suggest if we say for, how the for syntax should be there, or if, or anything range, that syntax, will it not prompt?
Uh, that even these Spider and all that will do, if I'm not wrong. I don't know exactly again about Spider because I have not used it, but PyCharm does it, and it depends upon what version you're using. Is it advanced version and all of that? And so there are ways to make it more user friendly, which is basically it does all of the command prompting of the syntax.
Okay, thank you very much. It's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for a very nice explanation of lambda.
Okay.
Lambda is that
Yeah.
for any x, right? For any x in that
Yeah.
pair, we read it like that, right? For any x.
So for each x, not any x, for each
For
x.
each x, okay. For each of the
Yeah,
x.
for each of
For
the
each
elements in the
set
list. Yeah,
notation,
that's correct.
set
Yeah.
set construction.
Yep.
Set.
सर पेपर ऑनलाइन होएगा या ऑफलाइन होएगा?
You'll have to ask on the discussion forum. I'm not exactly sure. So exam, method, portions, etc. You can ask on the discussion forum. We are not privy to those details. Okay. So we'll close this session for today. We'll have one more session next Monday, same time, same link. Okay. Take care. See you all there. Thank you.